Hello, welcome all. In this session, we are going to talk about setting up the developer environment or setting up the code structure for your Kafka in order to develop your producer and consumer. So, in order to do that, you have to set up the basic entities in order to run your Kafka code. So this is different from setting up your Kafka cluster. Rather, this is setting up your developer environment for your Kafka. The setting up of the Kafka cluster is in a separate session. In order to set up your developer environment, you have to have your Java JDK. That's your first point. Because since Kafka runs on top of JVM, so you need to have a Java JDK. Second thing is you need to download your Kafka. So only when you download Kafka, you will get your libraries in hand. That's downloading Kafka. Third thing is we will use IntelliJ as the IDE in order to code your Kafka. You can have any other IDE other than IntelliJ 2, but I would prefer in the IntelliJ because it has a strong coupling with Scala and as well as with Java. The fourth stuff is actually my GitHub, which contains my code and all these slides, whatever I have talked to you about, so that you can refer in future too at any time. I maintain this GitHub throughout my lifetime, so that so whenever you view this video, you'll be able to check out all my code and my GitHub whenever you wanted to. So let's go into checking out the Java JDK. So in order to download your Java JDK, go to this site, which is which contains the Java JDK versions, different versions, and you need to download the JDK. So this is Java SE 10, but we will my code and right now the industry standard is mostly on JDK 8. You can take any updates. The updates more than 160 is well and fine because those are all stable versions. And so now the update version is 171, Java JDK 8 with update 171. You need to download the JDK and set it up. So, and you need to install it, of course. So I be sure that you don't download the JRE, rather download the JDK version, Java Development Kit, rather than the JRE, which is Java Runtime Environment. Be sure to download the JDK. Second thing what I talked to you about is downloading the Kafka. So the Kafka is available in kafka.apache.org. So you can go there and you can do the download or go to the downloads page and you can download it. Ensure that you download the correct version based upon your Scala version. The preferred stable releases are both 2.11 and 2.12 of the Scala. And right now the Kafka latest release is 1.x. So I have seen people equally using 1.0 and 0.9. So 0.11. So you can either use 0.11 or 1.0. But for this session, I'm taking the latest one because let's always develop and learn with the latest thing. So I'll be taking the Scala version 2.11 with the 1.1. Ensure that you don't download the source version of it, rather download the binary version, because binary contains the installation and source contains the exact, the source code of the Scala itself. So I am downloading the Kafka 2.11-1.1.0.tgz, and you need to just extract it. That's it. The third one is the IDE, the Integrated Developer Environment for Kafka. So it's not for Kafka, it's for building any Java or Scala based application. That is the IntelliJ. So you need to go to the jetbrains.com/idea/download for your particular operating system, whichever it is. For me, it is Mac. You can either take Windows or Linux based upon your operating system and download the community version. Community is the open source version, so that you need to download it. If you have a license, download an ultimate version. So since community is a trial, a community is an open source, we always stick to the community edition, because you can either use Eclipse or NetBeans, doesn't matter at all. IntelliJ is never the IDE is never a barrier of choice, but the top IDE being used in the Scala world is the IntelliJ. Fine. So the typical competitor for Python, the typical complementary stuff on Python by the JetBrains is the PyCharm. So PyCharm is similar as for IntelliJ for Scala, PyCharm is for Python. So upon all these three in hand, you'll be able to, if you download and install it, you're well and good to go. You have all the softwares in hand for writing in the Kafka code. So now the third thing is my repository, where all I keep my slides and code for you. My repository is github.com/achinnasamy. So this is my repository, my GitHub repository, which contains all the code and all the slides, whatever you wanted for learning in big data. So I have a lot of repositories, and I keep this repository update, and I always keep this repository up to mark, so whatever training I do in future also, you will be having access to this repository, and you can download the code, and you can check out my slides and also keep in contact with me. So the Kafka code, whatever I write in this session, is actually there in the repository called as Werner Kafka. So if you go to inside the Werner Kafka repository, you will find a typical IntelliJ project in it. You just need to download as a GitHub checkout, and you can import that as a project. So how to import it and stuff, I'll explain that in the later part of the session. That's one thing with the Werner Kafka. The Werner Kafka is my code for the Kafka executables, or the Kafka explanatory examples and stuff. You have other repositories too, like Scala Training IntelliJ, which is about the complete description of the Scala project. Then you have Python Training, which has Python projects, and I have some open source projects that I have done in my career. So you can always take that too. There is almost one more repository called as a big data repository, where you can go in. The big data repository contains a lot of stuff. In that, you will have an insight.pdf.gz. Just check out that, and basically, or export it or download it, and that will give you an insight.pdf. If you unzip this zip file, that will give you an insight.pdf. That is my complete course content. My complete course content without any plagiarism, and for Kafka as well as for other trainings too, for Spark, Big Data, or for Python, Scala. So I have a lot of slides there. It's around 1,400 slides, and it contains the complete stuff of course materials. So all the slides that I talk about, or the presentation that I talk about, it's on that slide. It's on that PDF or .gz. It's on that gunzip file. So I assume that after you have downloaded the JDK, Kafka, the Kafka, and the IntelliJ, and after you have installed it, you need to trigger the IntelliJ, and you will get a screen, something like this, when you have created a screen. ensure that you have, here I have imported, I have my own project here, but you can create your own project. So let me tell you how to create your projects in here. So when you have installed and triggered your when you have started your IntelliJ, create a new project, file, new project, and choose a Scala here in case if you want to do Scala, or choose a Java here in case if you wanted to do a Java. I'm choosing Scala here because I'll be writing Scala code. So choose Scala here, give next. So in here, just give a good project name. That is, let me give it as IIHD Kafka engine. Okay, let me give it here. And in the project SDK, choose the place where you have installed your Java JDK. Click on New JDK. Choose the place where you have installed your, or where you have extracted your JDK. That should be your root folder, the root folder of your JDK. So when you have chosen the root folder, just give OK, and that would be prompted here. The IntelliJ would find your engine of your JDK automatically. Similarly, wherever you extracted your Scala SDK, choose the root folder of it. So in order to choose it, go to Create, Browse, choose the root folder where you have extracted your Scala SDK. So for me, it's inside the bin and I have chosen it. Fine, I've already chosen it, so let me not create a new one. And I would have in the Scala SDK here. Just give finish, and let me open it in a new window, and we are good to go. And when you right click on the source, you should get a new Scala class. If you get this, your IntelliJ environment is set up and you are good to go. So let me create of type object, and let me write the base Scala program here, IHD job. So in this, let me create a def main. Let me create a base Scala program here on Kafka. Let me do a println of let me do a println. Let me now run this guy. So I'm just running the base Scala program with a small println statement with a def main. This is my start of my program, and this has printed it. That's it. So my developer environment is set up. One important thing to know here is to install or to adapt Scala code inside my IntelliJ. In order to do that, you need to have a plugin of Scala installed in here. So in order to install the plugin, go to the IntelliJ preferences, go to your plugins, type in Scala, and for me it's already installed here, but there will be an install button here, and you need to click on install of it so that your plugin gets installed. Just click OK, and you need to restart your IntelliJ IDE. Ensure you definitely restart your IDE after you have installed your plugin. So by that, you will be able to set up your developer environment of setting up the Scala mode IntelliJ. The second thing is adapt your libraries, installing your libraries of Kafka inside your IntelliJ, or attaching, encompassing your Kafka libraries towards your IntelliJ. In order to do that, go to File, Project Structure, go to Modules, click on Dependencies. In this, I need to add all the Kafka jars to the IntelliJ. In order to do that, click on plus, jars or directories. Go to the place where you have extracted Kafka. So for me, it's in the Kafka, inside the AC bin Kafka. Choose the libs folder, just give OK. So all the jars inside the libs folder will be added to the IntelliJ runtime. This is the reason I have asked you to download the Kafka installation, because I need those jar files or library APIs to be added to the IntelliJ IDE. So once I have done that, let me give OK, and all my developer environment is set up. So with this, if you have done all these steps, my developer environment is set up and we are good to go.